Hello, happy hump day.
Happy hump day. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. I'm wonderful.
Tell us something, Tracy. Got any news to share?
Now I've got that. I don't remember. Did I talk about it on here? I don't remember
No.
talking about it on here. Well, I auditioned for an ad campaign for a big brand, and I got the part.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Corporate meeting person number 3.
Gosh.
I don't know.
Write your name.
No, it's not Rex's name. I made that up. But yeah, it's really exciting. I was like, oh,
That is really exciting.
really exciting.
Oh, yes.
So I will
Done.
be shooting that. Going to the shoot.
Shoot. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
You
so
know,
cool.
like what the process is, if they've told you anything, if they
They
just
tell you nothing.
just tell
Like, even when I turned up to do wardrobe, I had an address and a date and a time. And then I figured out like how to get there and everything. That was all right. When I got there, it was to a building and a level where you had to have a card fob to go anywhere in the lift.
right.
So luckily for me, somebody else was getting in the lift and had one, and that's how I got to where I needed to be. But they don't tell you stuff really.
And was that just in somewhere? You just random building kind of?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think there's like offices and agencies there. It's just that there's no way to get in there to go anywhere because you literally the entry level is just lifts.
This, yeah.
Yeah. So there's nobody manning, there's no reception. You've just gotta somebody would have to come and get you, I imagine.
That was the first test.
That was the first test. That was crazy. I managed to get where I needed to be. There you go.
You did. Yeah. It's not in the left. So yeah.
Yes.
Job is yours, Tracy.
Fine. And then to try on a few outfits and have a few pics taken.
Was so cool. It's so exciting.
And
did you keep the outfits?
No. And anyway, they're actually too big because
write that into your contract.
No. They're too big. She put this suit on me, it was way too big. But it doesn't matter because I'll just tuck it in, pin it here. I'm not moving around much, so you won't be able to tell. So you won't really want to keep the clothes. In fact, and one of the options is my own clothes because they asked me to bring a heap of my clothes. So one of the options is my own clothes anyway.
Yeah.
So we will.
Okay.
So
exciting. Well, congratulations. That's
amazing.
This is it. The start of
funny. So funny. I'll tell my mum, she'll have me at, Hollywood. She'll be like, I've been doing Hollywood. So
she'll be getting you an agent.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny.
That's really exciting.
Very good. What about you? What have you been up to?
What have we been up to? We've just been exploring the area. I told you that this year we wanted to take a lot more time out, a lot more kind of us time.
Yes.
And we got as many visitors this year. So yeah, instead of kind of showing people around, we can just explore at our own leisure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we found some amazing places. There's a hike I wanted to do for ages, and it's this staircase. So it's like out and back, it's 1,000 stairs in total.
Wow.
And so you go from the top of the hill and you just go down, and the bottom is like, well, you can go swimming in this little hamlet. So we decided to do that just after work. So because it stays late now, till like 8:30. So
I missed that.
After work, just go do stuff.
Yeah.
So we finished work up a little bit early, about 4-ish, and then headed out on this walk. And we got lost and then found the path again. And then poor Cooper dog, he was really suffering. So we got about 3/4 of the way downstairs, but didn't make it to the beach and had to, he was like, yeah, he's getting old now. So we said we'd go back another day and do it just us without the doggy. And then yesterday we did the same thing. We just quickly, finished up early, met up with a friend, did another hike. And then the hike turned into a paratino.
Oh, I like that.
Paratino. Yeah, so we had a really nice after work, we finished up work, and then 4 o'clock headed out and have a really nice.
Sounds amazing. It's my kind of work and my kind of hike.
Yes. Yeah, it was good hike, like really like up because it's all hilly here. It's like super hilly, so don't go anywhere without challenging yourself a bit.
Yeah.
And then it was nice. The views, beautiful ocean views with the aperitivo. And then went to an Irish pub for dinner.
An Irish pub of all places in Italy.
Yeah, they're actually really, really good food. So
okay. Is there actually any Irish people in the pub, like working there?
No, absolutely. I mean, there might be the odd tourist occasionally, but mostly,
Didn't think so.
They do local Italians. I mean, they do pizza and things like that, but they also do burgers and ribs and whatever. Yeah.
All right. Cool. And I really love the website, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's it called?
LaSpeciaGuide.com.
LaSpeciaGuide.com.
Yeah. So for tourists, I mean, we've got lots of tourists coming here off the cruises. So, and they kind of stumble off the cruise boats and like you can see them kind of, so it's to help, a lot of those tourists. And then there's a lot of people that come here that go to Florence because that's just 2 hours away. They're helping them navigate their way around. And then, of course, Cinque Terre, because we have like 2.5 million visitors a year going there. Just to help everybody. And then also a lot of people do the tours, and the tours are fantastic. But also just to help people who want to just do it themselves and have a bit more of an authentic kind of self-guided experience. So that's what it's all about, and that's what we're doing. And
I checked it out. I think it's amazing, the website. So much have gone into it. So much information.
Like 5 months of non-stop, really, just building it. And now we're just, getting some, all that content on there to help people.
Wow. It's incredible. So, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. We just need to kind of keep going now and, do what we want to do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I've got the first story of the night is interesting because it's like breaking news.
Yeah.
So breaking news, it's a CNN story, but it was on 9 News, but it's a CNN story. So I guess I just pulled it over. And the headline is Black passengers sue American Airlines after being booted from flight over false body odor complaint. False body odor. I'm like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
The lawsuit filed on behalf of 3 Black men alleges blatant and egregious race discrimination by American Airlines when they were removed from a flight. The suit alleges that the plaintiffs, and it names them, and 5 other Black male passengers were ejected from American Flight 832 from Phoenix to JFK in New York City on January 5th this year, without any valid reason based solely on their race, according to the complaint. So the American Airlines representative approached each of the men before takeoff, the complaint said, ordering them off the plane, and the passengers complied. And once they reached the jet bridge, they saw that several other Black men were also being removed from the plane. In fact, it appeared to plaintiffs that American that had ordered all of the Black male passengers on Flight 832 off the plane, which is interesting. And then the American Airlines representative told the men a complaint about body odor had prompted their removal, according to the suit. So, but none of the plaintiffs were told that they personally had body odor. And in fact, none of the plaintiffs had offensive body odor, it says. Isn't it weird? Imagine you just being asked to get off a plane and no reason. I just think that's just really random.
Yeah, I mean, if it were me, like in this day and age with, terrorism and all the rest of it, and I would just be thinking, oh my gosh, like that's what I would be thinking.
Yeah, I'd be thinking, something bad's happened.
Yeah, or, I've been mistaken for somebody, or thinking like it's a security thing, and I've been mistaken for somebody, and then how am I going to, that was going to be
trouble.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be crapping myself going, oh shit, what's going on? It says at least one American representative agreed with the plaintiffs when they suggested that they had been singled out because they were Black. Mobile phone footage taken by some of the men and shared by the Public Citizen Litigation Group representing the plaintiffs shows a chaotic scene as they question the airline's actions and records one man saying, so this is discrimination. I agree, says a woman wearing a badge who appears to be an airline employee. We're the only ones getting taken off the plane, says one man, panning across the group. Look at us. So anyway, what happens was 8 Black men being asked to get off the plane. They don't know each other. They're not sat near each other. And apparently at the gate, they're told that a white male flight attendant had made the body odor complaint. And I'm just like, what? But I don't know if this is better or worse. The men were eventually allowed back on the flight after an hour, after the airline determined there were no available flights that evening. So they had to reboard the plane and endure the stares of the larger white passengers who viewed them as the cause of the substantial delay. And they suffered during the entire flight home, and the entire incident was, I would be so embarrassed, traumatic, upsetting, scary, humiliating, and degrading. Especially to be told the reason now as well. Like, they didn't know, they weren't even told the reason until they got off the plane. Then they're being told somebody's complaining about the body odor.
Yeah. And so many things that are so wrong about this.
Right? About it.
If one person has a body odor issue, then that's not enough to demand that they get off the plane anyway.
God, I just sat next to people that stay. Next to people fighting.
I know, same. Unfortunately, that's a situation when you're in a crowded or in public environment. Yeah, you get all kinds, makes all kinds of us to kind of make up a community, and we have to have patience to accept that different people are different. But that one person that would cause people to be removed from a plane for a start, and then for it to be 8 people to be removed from a plane because of a complaint about one person.
Well, it's suggesting that they all had a body odor problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that like I keep saying, don't we, like now in 2024, that this type of stuff can happen. Well, we don't know the full story. We kind of never do we? But it's because we just getting the information through a news article. But it's saying that there was one white male flight attendant who made this complaint, and then these kind of all these actions happened.
Yeah.
But to think even that, because I think that flight attendants get a lot of training, they're obviously employed by a reputable airline. To think that one person would go ahead with this series of events, these series of actions, is mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, I know, it's a bit crazy, right? So, and then American Airlines have come back and said that they take claims of discrimination very seriously, and want the customers to have positive experience when they choose to fly with us. And they're saying they're investigating the matter as the claims do not reflect our core values or our core purpose of caring for people. The plaintiffs are seeking declaratory relief, just compensating for their pain and suffering, a punitive damage award sufficient to deter American from discriminating against Black passengers in the future, as well as attorney fees. And the complaint also refers to what it calls American Airlines, pattern of discriminating against Black passengers, which prompted a NAACP warning in 2017 related to the airline. And that warning was lifted 9 months later after the airline made progress in addressing the organization's concerns. And the plaintiffs claim that it's part of the pattern. So it's like, what is this warning thing? I don't even know what it is.
So I'm just looking at that now. It's saying the NAACP is warning American airline travelers to be careful when they fly with American Airlines. So African Americans to be careful when they fly with American Airlines. There is a pattern of disturbing incidents reported by African American passengers. NAACP cited 4 examples of Black passengers who it said were forced to give up their seats or removed from flights. It's suggesting a corporate culture of racial insensitivity and possible racial bias.
Wow.
Booking and boarding flights on American Airlines could subject them to disrespectful, discriminatory, or unsafe conditions. I mean, if that is the case, then that's exactly what African Americans should be doing, shouldn't they? They should be booking with alternative airlines if there are options, or, you know, only going with American Airlines as a last option.
Yeah, I know.
Money hitting people in the, you know,
Okay.
in the wallet or something where, you know, where you can force change.
I know, it's really bad, isn't it? It's like, has that really happened? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just looking at some of the other example. Anyway, it was just somebody's seat was changed without the consent, but I mean, that happens.
Yeah, there is. And it's because I was looking at American Airlines just in general, and they've been founded 95 years ago, deep-rooted history in America, obviously. They were the first airline in the US to hire a Black commercial airline pilot. First to hire a female US commercial airline pilot. So I think that they've demonstrated in the past that they, at least at a senior decision-making level with hiring commercial airline pilots, that they have diversity in their culture. But then it's a shame that at some level there's also other very disrespectful behavior happening.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It depends on who's in power at the time, you know, who's in management at the time. The culture really can be impacted by that. So who knows? It's just like you're saying, this day and age. But I don't even know how they can justify that. Unless they probably don't have all the story about these passengers that were asked to get off a flight. But I mean, even if it was, you know, body odor, you can't get people to get off a flight for body odor. So what else can it be?
Yes. And I think the nail in the coffin for me is that they didn't know it wasn't like a group of Black guys who were causing disruption or for one reason or another in blah, blah, blah. The nail in the coffin is that they didn't know one another and they were individual Black men just, you know, traveling by themselves, doing their thing, or at least not together. So, yeah, I mean, what can they say about that, really? There's no mention in the article, though, about any kind of action being taken against the white male flight attendant who created this situation.
No, whether he's been sacked or anything, you mean, like that?
Yeah. What recourse is there on him? And there's nothing really more being said about that from that perspective. But yeah, not
in depth
for them, for American Airlines. And
no,
I mean, we have to keep an open mind, have to try and understand the story a bit. I can't see that there is anything else really, given that the Black guys didn't know each other.
No. Or we're not even sat near each other.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Anyway. Moving on.
Yeah. Moving on. So I had a story here, which is completely different. And it's a story about Miss Universe Buenos Aires, Alejandra Rodriguez, making history for winning Miss Universe Buenos Aires, the first 60-year-old person to win that competition. In fact, it's the first time that competition has been opened up to a wider age group. And this is in eonline.com news. It was from earlier in the month. And it starts off by saying, age is just a number. Just as the 2024 Miss Buenos Aires winner Alejandra Marisa Rodriguez, who made history as the first 60-year-old contestant to win the prestigious title. The pageant queen, who is a lawyer and journalist from La Plata, beat 34 other contestants between the ages of 18 to 73. So that's
73?
Yeah, 73. Yes, they've opened up the competition. Like, it's just amazing that they've done that. And it was actually one of the previous Miss Universe winners who had advocated for that change. So in this article, you can watch a video on her being interviewed, and she's saying how thrilled she is that she was able to help kind of initiate that change and open up the competition and change the age group kind of criteria. So you can kind of have a look at the article. You can see the lady in question, Alejandra, and she's stunning, she's beautiful, and you can tell she's an older lady, but absolutely no reason why she shouldn't have won. And the fact that she's also got the brains to go with it, she's kind of the full package, isn't she? Which I think that's what they look for now, isn't there? And like when they do this, it's not just about beauty. Obviously, beauty plays a big role in the pageant queen kind of circuit, but it's also about your other qualities. So a lawyer and a journalist and 60 years old and killing it.
I just thought that was amazing. And I mean, whatever your opinions are, beauty pageants, I think as long as it's evolving to include inner outer beauty and brains, there seems to be more to it than maybe traditionally what was before. And the fact that older women can now be, compete in those things. But do you not think as well, like, just we're living longer as humanity's living longer, right? But also forget cosmetic surgery and cosmetic enhancements. Despite those, I feel like men and women look younger than they did when, before. Like a 50-year-old looks completely different from a 50-year-old now. And a 60-year-old looks completely different from a 60-year-old. I don't know if it's just we've got more, I don't know. Is it because we just know more about health and wellness and we're looking after ourselves better, or we've got better treatments for diseases and maybe all of those things? I don't know.
All of those things, and better quality of, going back 100 years, people were sleeping on the floor, weren't they? Straw mattresses if we're lucky. And now we have more luxurious things in life and then things to take care of ourselves better and knowledge to understand how to do that. But there's actually no reason why the age criteria shouldn't have been opened up, but especially like you say, it's like inner and outer beauty, and that's the full package. So the lady that was advocating for that change is a lady called Bonnie Gabrielle, and she was Miss Universe in 2023, and she's saying that Miss Universe is a bold group of women, and that they kind of, there's a lot of people that aspire and look towards them. So she said it's nice to be a standard bearer, and I'm proud that we get to do this. And she announced the age change during the New York Fashion Week. And she said, for me, I would like to see an age, this is what she was saying, an age increase because I am 8 years old. So previously it was 28 years old was the cap.
Oh, wow.
She won it that year. That was going to be her last opportunity, I guess, to compete. So she said from a personal perspective, she'd like to see the increase. But it's also just a beautiful thing to allow older women to compete. I mean, 28 years old, older women.
I know. 28. I can't believe that was the cap.
So there's massive changes in 28 to 73 years old. She said her favorite quote is, if not now, then when? Because as a woman, I believe age does not define us. If not tomorrow, it's not yesterday, but it's now. The time is now.
Right.
So, it's really great that, and it's nice that, she, as the previous winner, advocated for the change, and it's really been embraced. Given the following year, this year, this lady, Alessandra, 6 years old, won the pageant. So it's good that it wasn't just kind of lip service, then they've really embraced the change.
Absolutely. It's amazing. I had no idea it had that upper age limit. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I think that's as far as yet.
Hope for yet. I still like to see Mr. Universe though. Might go to that. Mr. Universe. We don't have that, do we?
I don't actually know, to be honest with you. I don't think that there's a pageant
Would that be as popular?
I don't know.
The universe.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very good.
All right, good story. I've got another good story here. So this is a story from Papua New Guinea, which is a Pacific island in that Australia used to like kind of govern. I didn't know that, but because I didn't know much about the history of Australia until I moved here. But yeah, Australia used to govern and then they handed it back to Papua New Guinea. So it's a very small place. And so, oh yeah, if we give Joe a shout out because Joe practically lives there, P&G we call it. Joe, who done a lot of work out there with the women's rugby league team. So this story is about Cecelia. Cecelia is determined to empower women through fitness in Papua New Guinea. And it's with the ABC News. Cecelia she looks strong, fit. She's got a medal around her neck in this picture. And she's the founder of Break a Sweat. So after losing her mother to liver cancer in 2019, Cecelia Kanawi knew that to break the cycle and avoid succumbing to lifestyle diseases, she had to make some life-altering decisions. But little did she know her personal journey would have a ripple effect, attracting more than 100 Papua New Guinean women to her fitness program called Break a Sweat. And this is a quote from Cecelia. She says, "When I started Break a Sweat, it was because personally, I was self-conscious of my body. I was too ashamed to go to the gym. Every time I walked into the gym, I would wait until all the men or all the women who are already fitness freaks and they look super good in their outfits leave the gym. Then I go into my little X in the corner." So when COVID-19 happened, that was when all the main gyms shut down. So I saw the little gap where I was going to tap into. So during the pandemic, Cecelia took an online course to become a certified fitness trainer and formally registered her business. And Break a Sweat started with just 5 members, but 3 years later, Cecelia has more than 100 participants and provides services including personal training, group sessions, and online training to clients overseas. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. I even just love the name.
Break a Sweat.
Yeah.
Break a Sweat.
Good name.
Great name. Loving it. And it's special is the community formed by the women, which extends to more than just fitness buddies. She says she has participants who are members of the disciplined forces, which means police and defense, health workers, law practitioners, lawyers, and magistrates. And they support each other beyond the fitness and beyond friendship, with the services as well, like medical assistance or protection. It's a really good networking group as well.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And they'll support each other. And last year, Cecilia's fitness program attracted P&G's Pacific Games gold medalist powerlifter Linda Poulsen to join. And that prompted Cecelia to become an athlete. So apparently, she's been training with P&G powerlifters. And when I went to compete, my shoes, my belt, and my lifting accessory were all paid for by the women that I trained. So it was a community of women that supported me. So she's got a safe space for women and a safe and welcoming space for women. And just wanted to see if and there's just stories here. Like Tahina Booth is a former elite rugby league player and founder of the Grass Skirt Project, a leading organisation tackling gender-based violence in PNG through innovative sports and wellness initiatives. Someone else says it's important to have facilities like Break a Sweat accessible to everyday women in PNG's capital and wants the government to help create more spaces like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned Joe before, living most of the time, or a lot of the time in PNG, and this goes back to her documentary, doesn't it? Power Mary.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give it a...
that was the themes of that whole documentary, wasn't it? About how rugby league and in PNG are helping those women to gain confidence in their personal lives who are facing domestic violence and have been kind of used to that culture of domestic violence.
Yeah.
But the rugby league has brought them together, and they have kind of that strength and that community because of that. So it seems like a common theme in PNG, sports and sports groups and community groups like that, helping women to overcome those personal battles that they might be facing.
Absolutely. And Joe, I think, did that documentary back in 2017. I think it came out in 2018. And it was Joe following the first national women's rugby league team. So rugby league is massive. It's like the main sport in PNG. So the first national rugby women's league team, and they're called the PNG Orchids, on their journey to the 2017 World Cup in Australia. So Joe followed them from putting the team together to all the games, traveling to Australia, to, you know, be in this massive sporting competition. But, you know, even to do that, they have to overcome some intense sexism, a lack of funding, and the prejudice, the national prejudice. So it's a really incredible documentary. I watched it.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's cool.
Yes. Yeah, really good documentary. But yeah, no, this is just going back to the story. I love the name. But yeah, she's obviously somebody she's quite driven, isn't she? Got a vision. And it's really nice that she was able to kind of turn the COVID situation around. I mean, a lot of people didn't they? I spoke to my mom a little while ago, and she was going to like an art exhibition. I think her and my sister are going, and it was during COVID. An artist in the UK, he was like creating art every day. So it's like his whole COVID journey. And yes, and a lot of people that kind of took that whole very negative situation and turned it around and kind of captured the moment and made it into a positive for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's called creativity, inspiring creativity. There's always options, and if you just follow your passion. What I've also found interesting is wondering, the reason she set it up was a body consciousness. How many people feel like that and puts them off going to the gym? I can imagine that happens quite a lot, especially for women. Maybe for men as well.
Because I was literally having this conversation again with my mom last week. So my mom suffered a heart attack last year, and it was most likely due to the fact that she's been smoking for most of her life, because apart from that, she's quite fit and healthy and, eats really well, underweight rather than overweight. She's definitely, it was a real shock that she had the heart attack basically, but she's given up smoking. She goes to the gym. She's going swimming she's joined the swimming group every week. So she's doing all these things to really, increase her fitness and to prevent another heart attack. But one of the things so she's going to this gym group, and it's specifically for people that have suffered a heart attack. And, she pays, but it's also kind of funded, I think, in the background because of the whole situation. But she said that it's at risk because not enough new members are joining. And I talked to her a little bit more about it. And then I was asking her about the guy that runs the group. And it turns out he had had a heart attack many years ago, but he's like a fitness freak now. And she says, you look at him and you know that he could just run a marathon, now if he wanted to, kind of thing. He's so super fit. And so that's the problem. I said, if he's going to talk to these people that have just suffered a heart attack, many of them are overweight, older, are going to look at him and they're going to think, oh, that group's not for me. And they're not going to be able to connect with him because they're going to see him, and some people are like, I want to be like him. But a lot of people are going to see him and they're going to probably feel intimidated. They're probably going to think, oh, I'm not going to go to that gym because it's going to be full of people that look like him and nobody that looks like me.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's good, to be an example for others is to have overcome your own problem that others share. But if there's too big a gap, which is what it is, then it can be, people can just be like, oh, that's too much. That's impossible. It's too big an accomplishment.
Yeah. Or
great.
even like this lady said, you know, she was kind of cowering away in her little corner of the gym because she felt ashamed.
Mm.
And I said to my mom, maybe he needs to invite other people that, you know, look a little bit more like, you know, representative of the group, because not everybody in the group looks like him.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, you should be inviting other people along with him to show, you know, okay, it's for everybody. It's not just for gym junkies like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Needs to be some sort of marketing on the demographic, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are gyms here that are exclusively for women.
Yeah.
I get that. You know, conscious of
yeah.
your body conscious.
Yeah.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But there's even the physical side of it. Even if you're like, oh, well, this is how I look, blah, blah, blah. There's also the physical side of it, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that. You know, that kind of, that feeling of shame that could be part of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's great that Cecelia and okay, well, she found a way to overcome. She said that she kind of did her little exercises in the corner, which is really sad, but
Yeah, she did so.
but yeah, obviously she wasn't self-conscious enough not to kind of give up on the whole idea.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Oh, that was sort of the story. I really thought it was really cool that she did that. And that she's getting a shout out for that movement that she's created.
Yes. Good for her. Yeah. And good that there's types of activities that are trying to get started up in PNG, because there's just always so much going on over there.
I know.
There's riots, and then recently with that huge landslide, seems to be kind of a lot of crisis type things happening in PNG.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, let's get into time. Oh, do you have
Where's your jingle?
What you do?
Yeah, I'm going to throw one at you this time because
Okay.
it really put me in the hot seat, and I've had enough of it.
Go on, give it to me. Give it to me.
I'd like to revisit that story about the black passengers on the American Airlines plane, because what really struck me is that it was an employee that kind of instigated all this. So it was a white male employee that they talked about that had made the complaint about body odor. And then they see the resulting course of events where 8 black men were removed from the plane. But what struck me is that there were surely other flight attendants working there that day. And what would you do for you is, if you were in that situation, you were at work and you had another colleague, doesn't matter why, whatever, but another colleague that took an action or made a complaint that was racist, and then a course of events started to unfold that were really unrepresentative or unrelated to, you know, what the complaint was. What would you do in that situation? So, I mean, it could be any situation really, but I mean, you could use this as an example with the airline situation. Like, you're an employee of the company as well. I'm assuming that you're working in a culture that does not promote racism or those types of discriminatory behaviors. You probably received lots of training, you know, about that kind of thing. And there's a lot of big corporates do roll out that type of training now about discriminatory behavior and, you know, how it's absolutely not acceptable. So what would you do if you had a colleague that was behaving discriminatory like this?
Okay, well, you know, you can't really answer that question without context, because every context may call for different, you know, response. So I'd have to go with this specific example with the information that we have to hand in a news article and just say, what the F?
Oi. What the F?
All of it's nonsense to me anyway, because, all right, a flight attendant, but sure, who's got the decision to make such a big decision? Because that's to take people off a plane. That's going to be like the manager or the crew manager, or
head. Yeah, the headline. By the pendant.
Or even the pilot. I have no idea what the chain of command is. But there would have had to be a decision maker that went beyond the one flight attendant. So to me, that suggests a culture, because other people, decision makers, were complicit in that action.
Yes.
So that would be a really awkward position to me to be in if I was simply a flight attendant and not in decision making. Because then would I be jeopardizing? I'd have to think, would I be jeopardizing my job?
Yes.
By speaking up, by saying something. So that, that would be a scary thing. So it would really depend on how much I valued my job, how much I needed my job. I'd like to think I would say something, because to me, it was just so blatantly wrong what they did. It was just too blatantly. If we go by the story, it's like, you can't throw someone off the plane because they smell, regardless. I would have to say, like, really? And one thing I love to throw out there sometimes is, do you think this is a good decision, whoever made the decision? Can you see the headlines tomorrow? And then I just, 8 black men asked to get off the plane. The only black men on the plane asked to get off the plane because of body odor. What do you think of those headlines? How do you think that's going to go down? I like the headline thing. I think it makes people think about it.
Yeah, that is a good piece of advice, isn't it? I've heard that before about, if you're struggling over a decision at work, think about what it would look like in print. If some journalists were to report on it, and then that might help you kind of think a bit clearer. If your name was in print and, the whole were to see what, the actions that you took. Yeah, and in this situation, I'd be asking, if it was a white man that smelled, would the same decision have been taken here?
Yeah, there's that as well.
And we've done a lot of flying for work, haven't we? Been on a lot of flights, and I have been in that situation, and a few times. There was one really distinct memory that you remember. We have a lot of the FIFO workers, however you say, in Australia.
Yeah.
The guy must have literally just finished a heavy day of, muscling whatever, work, sweaty. He was fully in his, he might as well still have had his high vis on, right? He was fully in his work boots, work gear, and he stank. And I was sat next to him, absolutely stank. And, it's like, well, he's done a hard day's work, and what else are you going to expect? And the guy's probably trying to get home to his family as soon as he can, and can you blame him for it, kind of thing?
Yeah, but I mean, really, you shouldn't be throwing people off the plane unless they're being disruptive or life-threatening. And body odor, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Peggy nose, I don't know.
Yeah. But you're right, it is kind of a context thing. And probably in this situation, the course of events did occur because the other employees were probably scared of losing their job.
Yeah,
right?
Probably.
Speaking up, like, there's plenty of situations where in a work environment, you probably behave differently to your normal outside behavior because you don't want to risk losing your job or getting into trouble with your manager or being kind of labeled as that person or
The thing is as well, probably going on a tangent here, when you are a minority in a predominantly white workforce, you don't want to be the person, you don't want to be seen as a troublemaker. You don't want to be seen as all those things, when you just kind of ignore microaggressions and let them slide.
Yeah,
because which you shouldn't have to, but I remember something that happened. It wasn't directed at me, it was somebody else, and it was really, really bad comment from someone. And it was just, sometimes you're like a deer in the headlights, like, did they just
do you want to elaborate on that? I mean,
deer in the headlights, I did that, the person really say that? And like, yes, like, so it's contextual. It's very awkward to know how to react in the moment. So I think it's good to have more, specific advice about those kind of things. And that's available now if you choose to, to do any of the trainings that are on offer, whether it's in your workplace or take it upon yourself to do it outside. I don't know. But there are ways to deal with that and notice it when it happens. It's not okay. And it shouldn't be the people that it's targeting. It shouldn't be their job to have to, say something about it. We should all be standing up against it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I mean, look, a lot of corporates have these policies in place. They have these procedural documents. They have this culture that they create, and unless we all kind of, it's fine for it to be on paper, but until we put it into action in real life, then it's just all lip service, isn't it?
I know. And the thing that worries me now is we've got lots of people, lots of backlash going on. Oh, it's so woke. Woke's a bad word now. From what it means, it's been turned into something else. And that really disturbs me because it's like, okay, so we'll just take all that away then. And what are we left with? Continue. It gets worse because it's not in a good place now. So what's the alternative? And instead it's just being attacked as, I don't know, nanny state, too woke, whatever. And that's really annoys me because what we can do better. So how do you suggest we do better?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it does seem like there's a wave of people that don't want to do better.
Yeah, I guess that's probably true.
Why you get told, or is it just media kind of provoking situations to sell news,
Well, the media obviously contribute a lot. I notice it myself on the news. I have these little things sometimes in the news, like, I know, some crime or alleged crime, and they'll be like Black men or Muslim men. But what it's not relevant to that piece of information doesn't seem relevant. But I mean, it's not only with race. Sometimes they do it like with the age, but the age's not relevant, or with mother of three. I know why they do it that way because they want empathy and shock and whatever. But sometimes they say things, they identify things that to me not relevant, and are either sensationalizing it or trying to elicit an emotional shock. And I know that's why they do that. But when they focus on race, that really pisses me off when it's not relevant.
When it's not relevant, yeah. No, it is a shame that somebody didn't speak up in that situation.
Yeah, I'm glad they're suing because we would never know about it actually.
Yeah, that's right. And some people will go, oh, suing, blah blah blah. Why are they suing? But is that actually, whether they get compensated financially or whatever? At the end of the day, it's like you say, it's about raising this issue and bringing it to the forefront. Otherwise, we wouldn't hear about it, and then it could continue to happen.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Thank you for that. What would you do?
Right. Yeah. I'll do another one next week now. I'm on a roll.
You're on a roll. Thanks. Thanks for that one. All right, Hen. Well, thank you for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Tracy. Nice to have a chat with you as always. And very best of luck. Break a leg.
Oh God, that's so that.
Isn't it?
Break a leg. Oh yeah, I will. I'll tell you all about it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right then. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.